Welcome, boys and girls. I'm so glad to see you here on this terrific Tuesday morning for Upper Primary Circle Time. My name is Miss Antonia Bain, and I'm going to take you through today's Circle Time. Now, I know some of you are wondering, well, what is Circle Time? Well, circle time is the time where we gather to review basic concepts that you should know as fourth, fifth, and sixth grade students. It's also that time where we review basic facts that you should know as citizens of the Bahamas. Now, circle time is extremely important because it also promotes some basic skills. Want to know what these skills are? Well, I'm going to point to various parts of my body. And based on the part of my body that I point to, I want you to be able to tell me what skill we'll be using in circle time. Let's begin. What skill am I using if I point here? Very good. That's the skill of thinking. What about if I point here? Yes, that's the skill of listening. Very good. What about if I point here? Excellent job, boys and girls. That's the skill of speaking. What about if I point here? Beautiful. That's the skill of looking. And the last skill we'll be talking about has to do with, what am I doing? Yes, boys and girls, I'm concentrating. Now, in order to promote these skills, we have to follow some basic circle time rules. Let's get into what these rules are. First and foremost, I need you to sit up in your chair. Make sure you're comfortable. Then I need you to keep your hands to yourself. That means no fidgeting and no moving unless you're instructed to do so. Also, I need you to be looking at the screen. That means that all eyes should be on me. I need you to also be listening. Pay attention to what I say. As the old adage says, when we listen, we will learn. And then the last thing I need you to be able to do is I need you to be shh, quiet. That means that nobody should be making any noise around you. That way you have no distractions. Now, once you do that, I think we're ready to begin our circle time today. Now, for circle time today, we have numerous skills that we need to review. We'll be doing a little bit of sight words, mathematics, grammar, social studies, and science. Now, that sounds like a lot, right? But I know we can do it. Now, for today's lesson, we're going to go on a little trip. To prepare for this trip, Miss Bean has to do a quick wardrobe change. Now, when I get back, I want you to be able to tell me, where do you think we're going? All right, boys and girls, give me 1 minute. I'm back. Can you guess where we're going? Hmm, maybe if I do this, then you'll be able to get a better idea. Where do you think we're going today? Yes, you guessed it. We're going to the beach. We're going to spend our morning at the beach to discover our circle time review. So today we'll be cruising through our daily review. Now, when we get to the beach, there are various different things that we see. One of the first things that we see are, what's that? Sorry, what's this? That is a tree, but that's not any ordinary tree. In those trees are hidden some sight words. Yes, boys and girls, sight words. These are words that when we see them, we should be able to say them. But before I reveal the words hidden in our tree, I want you to watch this quick sight word video for me. Afterwards, we'll engage in a sight word activity. Are you ready? I know I am. Let's get started.
Fry's 10th 100 words.
You can hear?
Six through 100. Smell. Solution. Southern. Steel. Stretched. Substances. Suffix. Sugar. Tools. Track. Triangle. Total. Truck. Underline. various, view, Washington, wheel, western, win, woman, workers, wouldn't, wrong, yellow,
All right, boys and girls, I hope you were paying attention. Now, I'm going to show you some words, and in those words are our sight words. In those trees, sorry, are our sight words. How do I get? Okay, now I'm going to show you some words. In these trees, you will see the sight words that you would have reviewed in the video. Now, next to each tree, there are some numbers. What I want you to do is, I want you to put up the amount of fingers that represent the tree with that sight word that I will call. Are you ready? Let's begin. Identify the tree that has the word sugar. Sugar. If you hold up 3 hands, 3 fingers, you are correct. Awesome job, guys. What about the tree that has the word wheel? Wheel. Look good. If you held up 2 fingers, you are correct. Let's try this one. What about the tree that has the word underline? Underline. If you held up 2 fingers, you were correct again, boys and girls. What about the tree that has the word southern? Southern. Excellent. You should have held up 1 finger. Good job. And let's look at this last one. What about the tree that has the word view? View. Look good. Yes, it's tree number 2. Awesome job, guys. Now, we would have visited the palm trees. Now we're going to walk along the sand. And in this sand, we're going to find, guess what? Some sentences and fragments. Yes, and I know you remember what they are, but we're going to review very quickly what sentences and fragments are. Let's look at a sentence. A sentence is a word that expresses a complete thought. A sentence expresses a complete thought. Not only that, a sentence also begins with a, that's right, capital letter. Excellent. And we also know that a sentence ends with an end mark. And we know what those end marks are, right? Yes, they are full stops, they are question marks, and they are exclamation marks. Awesome job. Now, I want you to listen to this group of words and tell me if this is a sentence. The tide is high today. Does that sound like a sentence to you? Does that make sense? Does it express a complete thought? Yes, it does. Very good. Now, let's look at this example sentence. The beach is a beautiful place. The beach is a beautiful place. Remember, we said that a sentence is a group of words that express a complete thought. Does that express a complete thought to you? Yes, it does. Very good. Remember, we also said that a sentence begins with a capital letter. Do you see the capital letter? I know I do. Where is that capital letter? The capital letter is the letter T. Very good, boys and girls. And then we also said that a sentence has an end mark. Can you identify the end mark in this sentence? That's right. It is a full stop. Awesome job, guys. Now, we're going to look at a fragment. What is a fragment? Well, a fragment is a group of words that does not express a complete thought. That means that it does not make sense. It does not sound right. A fragment also means that it's missing one of two parts of a sentence. It's either missing the subject or it's missing the, you guessed it, predicate. And we know what a subject is, right? A subject is the naming or telling part of the sentence. And the predicate, yes, that's correct. That's the part of the sentence that tells what the subject is doing. Now, let's look at these group of words and see if we can identify the sentences or fragments. Are you ready? Let's go. Before we begin, let's quickly look at this group of words. Beautiful place. That is an example of a fragment. It begins with a capital letter, it ends with an end mark, but guess what? It does not make sense. That's right. So now I think we are ready to look at these example sentences. Identify the sentence and fragments in these sentences. Here's our first sentence. Lost their way. Is that a sentence or is it a fragment? If you said fragment, you are correct. Thumbs up, boys and girls. Let's look at this next group of words. Tony and Beth went to the beach. Tony and Beth went to the beach. Does that sound like a sentence or, a fragment? If you said sentence, you are correct. You're doing awesome. Let's look at this. They forgot to bring snacks with them. They forgot to bring snacks with them. Sentence or fragment? If you said sentence, you are correct. Luckily for the girls. Luckily for the girls. Sentence or fragment? That's right, it's a fragment. And our last sentence to identify. Their parents went to the beach with them. Their parents went to the beach with them. Is that a sentence or is it a fragment? Yes, that is a sentence. Give yourselves a thumbs up. You're on the right track. Now, boys and girls, we've looked at the palm trees, we've looked at the sand, and now it's time for us to look to the sun. When we go to the beach, we feel the warm ultraviolet rays of the sun. Today, in our sun, we're going to see some multiplication facts that we need to solve. But before we solve these multiplication facts, I have another quick video I want you to review. This video is going to help you with the multiplication facts for today. So pay close attention, and after the video, I have another activity for you. Are you ready? Let's go! Awesome job, boys and girls. Now, I know you were moving and grooving to those Junkanoo beats, but I hope you were paying attention. Before we review our facts for today, I want to share another skill with you, and that is the skill of the commutative property. Can you say that for me, please? Commutative property. Yes, boys and girls. The commutative property is otherwise known as the order property. And what that tells us is that no matter how we move our factors or addends around, our answer is still going to be the same. So Let's look at this analogy. If I take red and I mix it with yellow, I'm going to get orange. That's correct. But what the commutative property tells us is that even if I start off with yellow and mix it with red, I'm still going to get orange. Let's take that and apply it now to our multiplication. Commutative property or order property tells us that if I have 5 and I multiply that by 2, I'm going to get 10. And no matter if I change the order of my factors, 2 times 5 is still going to give me 10. So I want you to keep that in mind when we go over these multiplication facts. Let's look at this. Here we have a picture of the sun, and in the clouds we have some numbers. A multiplication fact is going to reveal itself in the cloud, in the sun, sorry. And our clouds provide the answer. You need to identify the cloud that has the correct answer to our problem. Let's look at this. 11 times 6. Which cloud has the product of 11 times 6? That's correct. 66. Excellent job. Let's look at this one. Which cloud has the answer to 4 times 5? Put your finger on that cloud. If you have your finger on the number 20, you are correct again, boys and girls. Awesome job. What about 12 times 5? That one sounds hard. But remember the commutative property or the order property that tells us no matter the way in which we place our factors, the product is still going to be the same. If you said that the answer is 60, you are correct. Awesome. What about 7 times 6? Interesting, right? Remember the order property. Very good, boys and girls. 42. Let's try this last one. 9 times 5. 9 times 5 is the same thing as saying 5 times 9. And that is, you got it, 45. Excellent job, boys and girls. So we've talked about the trees. We've looked at the sand. We've delved into the sun. And now it's time to dive into the water. That is correct. And in the water today, we have some very special marine animals. These marine animals can be classified as vertebrates or invertebrates. Do you remember what they are? Let's review. Vertebrate. A vertebrate is an animal that has a backbone, or some people would say a spine. And we are vertebrates because we have a spine in our back. Then let's look at invertebrates. Invertebrates are those animals that do not have a backbone. They have what we call an exoskeleton, and that's a hard outer covering. Now, in the water, numerous marine animals can be classified as vertebrates and invertebrates. I have a couple here that I want to show you. Can you classify or sort these animals into vertebrates or invertebrates? Let's do it together. Let's look at our first animal, the jellyfish, otherwise known as a cnidarian. Is that a vertebrate or an invertebrate? Does it have a backbone or does it not have a backbone? If you said invertebrate, you are correct. Give yourself one clap. Let's look at our next animal, the fish. Vertebrate or invertebrate? We'll say it's a vertebrate because it has a backbone. Let's look at our next animal, the lobster. This falls into the crustacean family. That's correct. A lobster is a vertebrate or an invertebrate. It is an invertebrate. That's right. What about this guy? The octopus. Family to the mollusks. It's a no-shelled mollusk. Is that a vertebrate or an invertebrate? That is an invertebrate. And last but not least, our shark. Is that a vertebrate or is that a invertebrate? If you said vertebrate, you are correct. Excellent job, boys and girls. Super duper. Now, our last stop on the beach today is to combine all of this together. Do you know that the trees, the water, the sun, and the sand all fall into one category? Can you tell me what that is? If you said it is a resource, you are correct. But it's not just any resource. It's considered to be a natural resource. Now, what are natural resources? Well, these are the raw materials in nature that we use to make something else. Natural resources can be found underground, they can be found on land, and they can be found under the water. In our last activity today, we're going to identify where we can find some basic natural resources. Let's take a look. Here are 4 natural resources. Can you identify where they're found? I know you can. Think hard. Let's begin with the rocks. Where are rocks found? Do we find them underground, on land, or under the water? That's right. We find rocks on land. Excellent job. What about the fish? Where do we find fish? Under the water. Correct. Let's look at oil. Where do we find oil? Oil can be found, you guessed it, underground. And last but not least, what about salt? Where do we find salt? Salt can be found on land. Excellent job, boys and girls. Excellent job. You did a wonderful job. Give yourselves a round of applause. And that, students, brings us to the end of our circle time for today. Our next circle time is scheduled for Thursday. Be on time and remember our circle time rules in order for you to get the most out of circle time. So until next time, my name is Miss Bean, and I'll see you guys at our next circle time adventure. See you next time.
Okay, go up to the